Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Well, the suffering is finally at an end. Here is the fourth and last volume of Adam Fischer's miserable recording of the Haydn late symphonies, the London Symphonies, containing numbers 102, 103, and 104. Oh, boy, has this been dire. You know, one of you posted a comment, which I actually responded to instead of just deleting, that basically said, why do you bother doing this if you don't like them? And you know you don't like them. Why keep reviewing them? Well, the answer is, first of all, it's fun, number one. I mean, it's enjoyable to review them, especially if I've spent the precious moments of my life listening to these things, moments which can never be recaptured. So I might as well say something about it, number one. Number two, it's my job. It's what I do. I listen and I report. Number three, hope springs eternal. You always hope that it's going to be better, and that not everything is going to be the same. And some of these are better than others. There's no question about that. So you can make distinctions, and that's why I do it. So I'm sorry if you know that my inclination is to be dismissive. Don't watch the video. You don't have to. You don't have to see me ranting and raving and huffing and puffing. I do have to say, a lot of people like it when I huff and puff. So I'm a good huffer and puffer. So there you go. So what's wrong with this? Oh, actually, quite a bit. Let's start at the beginning. Number 102, arguably Haydn's greatest symphony, or one of the handful of great symphonies, as opposed to just the great symphonies. Because really there isn't any bad Haydn in the symphonies, is there? No. But 102 is brilliant, and this is one of the better performances in the pile. It's better because it has this, it's almost like a Beethoven symphony, number 102. It's a muscular sort of, full of tensile strength and rhythmic energy, and it sort of goes. It carries you along. There's not a lot of messing and mucking you can do with it, which isn't to say that he doesn't. He does, and I'll tell you where. The first movement's okay. The second movement, which is one of Haydn's most beautiful movements, it's the one he also used in that, the F minor piano trio. It's just lovely. And it has a gorgeous solo cello and muted trumpets and timpani. I mean, just extraordinary orchestration, none of which is evident here. Not a bit. It's an absolutely gray, colorless performance of that movement. I don't understand how, with the chamber orchestra and period this and authentic that, approach, he could arrive at something which is so completely flat colored. I mean, there's that wonderful climax where the muted trumpet sort of cuts through because there's an overhang. And nowadays, a lot of people think that, it's more authentic, that the trumpet parts really ought to be cut off what everyone else does. So you don't get to hear that tone of muted trumpet carrying over to the next phrase. Well, damn it, you should. It sounds great. And ridiculous. Anyway, it's just a total non-happening. And as usual with Fischer, his phrasing is so choppy, with elided endings, chopped off final notes and things. It doesn't flow. And it is the most gorgeously flowing melody. I mean, it's beautiful. It should be just mellifluous and continuous. And then with that gorgeous orchestration. It's warm and autumnal at the same time. Oh, God, it could be so beautiful. It really can. Not here. Scherzo, okay, who cares? As usual, in trio sections, he always cuts the strings down to solo things, even though Haydn didn't ask for that, which makes nonsense of what Haydn does ask for. And the finale. Well, the finale's terrible. It's just too fast. You know, he does get very crisp articulation from the orchestra. I'll grant him that. But the speed doesn't allow any characterization of the phrases. You know, there's the part that goes da 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 da. You can do so much with that within the correct tempo. It's about phrasing, it's about character and playing. But when you're flying through it, it doesn't work. And then, of course, at the end, he has to make a meal of that part where it all stops, and it goes da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, dun dun dun. And then it's like a tempo, then it does it again, and it's just annoying. I mean, those are the bad bits. The rest of it's okay. It really is. So it's not the worst performance, but it only makes those spots where he decides to interpret all the more painful. All right, next we get the drum roll. Oh, the drum roll. I mean, what am I going to say about this? Well, the minuet is really lame. I don't know why he took all the juice out of it, but he did. The finale is not powerful enough, probably because there aren't enough strings. There just aren't, and you have those moments where Haydn's very careful with his dynamics, which you never know from these performances because Fischer is always mucking around with the dynamics. But, fortissimos are rare, fortissimi are rare, and they only last a few bars so that you really hear them. And there are some wonderful moments in this finale that should just explode, but they can only explode if you have enough strings, which they don't. You got to remember, in these symphonies, Haydn had an orchestra of 60 players. And double winds, and, with the orchestra arranged en amphitheater, with the timpani and trumpets on risers. And, it was in a room, the Hanover Square rooms, it held about, maximally about 800 people. So it was a small hall with a big orchestra, which means these things were loud. And you never have that feeling. It must have been just an overwhelming sound. In these works, and you don't get that here at all. I mean, the slow movement of the drum roll was encored at the premiere. It was one of the most popular movements Haydn wrote. It's based on a Croatian folk song. I mean, it was the approximate model for the slow movement of Schubert's the slow movement of Schubert's Great C Major Symphony. That sort of march theme with its major and minor alterations in Haydn. It's glorious, and here it's wimpy. It's just wimpy. Whether or not you hear everything, it doesn't have the grandeur or the volume that Haydn intended. And then we had to do the London Symphony. Oh my! Why does he take the opening so quickly? Da 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 da. No majesty whatsoever. Zippo in the majesty department. The slow movement I found almost unlistenable. Not because it was bad or because the tempo was wrong. It's just because it has no color. I mean, the playing is just so gray and flat and uninteresting. The minuet is bizarre. I mean, this is the minuet. I mean, it's marked allegro, and it should be quick, and initially, da da dum bum ba dum bum ba da 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 dum bum bum. Well, the sounds like he's doing a raspberry, some sort of tremolo or something. Remember, like Harnoncourt did in the water music. It's wrong. It's weird. I mean, and then after that, every time that trill comes, I mean, it's really soggy and lame. I don't understand why he took it so slowly in this case. It doesn't make any sense at all. And the finale is like the finale of the drum roll. It's just a little bit limp and a little bit weak and a little bit tepid. And, everything he does to interpret sucks more of the energy out of the music. It's all negative, basically. So here we have, finally it's over, and I'm glad it's over, and I hope you're glad it's over, and we don't ever have to pay attention to these anymore. Fischer really should be ashamed of himself because he knows better, or he knew better. But at some point, like so many of these conductors, he drank his own Kool-Aid and believes that he's, as I said before in my original reviews of these, he thinks he's smarter than Haydn. And here's a news flash. He ain't. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.